Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I'm SocietySucks and today I'm checking out how many continents are there by CGP Grey. Obviously, different people will tell you that there is a different number of continents. I do believe the most commonly agreed on number is 7. North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia and Antarctica. Oh yeah, and Australia. Or Oceania. I'm not actually sure if the continent is called Oceania or Australia. I don't know. Whatever. Let's see what Grey has to say.
How many continents are there? If you grew up in the English-speaking world, you might think that the answer is obvious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But not everyone counts continents the same way. The usual definition, that they're large land masses separated
Some people
from others by
counted
oceans,
the
is fine
Americas
until you
as
actually
one.
start to think about it, and then you run into problems.
And Asia
Problems
and
like
Europe
this.
and Africa.
Here's Europe, here's Asia, and you'll notice the lack of ocean between them. Then why are they two different continents? The usual reason for this split is a cultural one.
Yep.
That Europe is so different from
It's
Asia
just a
that
different
best to
culture,
pretend
so
it's a separate entity.
can't really say it's the same
Okay,
place.
maybe. But if the cultural argument is valid, then surely it also applies to India and the Middle East. Now you have 9 continents.
Oh
and
yeah,
you have a
that's
problem.
true.
If culture defines continents, then you'll never stop drawing increasingly unhelpful lines. So some places ditch the cultural division and combine Europe and Asia into Eurasia. This Eurasia is not to be confused with this Eurasia, which has always been at war with East Asia. Making Eurasia gives a 6-continent view of the world. But what about over here, North America and South America? They're connected to Panama, or at least they used to be until Teddy Roosevelt decided that someone had to cut that country in half and it might as well be him. But even still, the canal's only 13 meters deep. You could walk all the way from northern Alaska and across the narrow
they're basically
Panama
still
Canal,
connected,
and if
let's
it
be
weren't
honest.
for the deadly, impenetrable, poison-filled Brazilian rainforest, make it all the way to the southern tip of Chile. So North and South America, despite the canal, aren't really divided. Which is why some places, particularly South America, treat America as a single continent, not two. Which brings the total number of continents
So South
down to
America
5.
counts it as
But
just
if
one?
you disregard the Panama Canal,
Okay.
then you also have to disregard the Suez Canal. And you've just created the monstrously large Afro-Eurasian continent, 85 million square kilometers, home to 5.7 billion people. With this 4-continent view of the world, we must surely be done, because there are no more continents to merge, and our definition from the beginning is
Yeah, I
now
mean, this should
consistent.
be it.
Except, we're not done, because of that troublesome word large. Exactly how large is continental large? Is Australia really a dinky continent, or is it king of the islands? Why not make Greenland the smallest continent? It's pretty big, even if you took away its ice. And speaking of ice, what about Antarctica, the forgotten continent, unfairly smushed against the bottom of maps just because no one lives there? Remove the ice sheet that covers Antarctica, and you reveal it for the archipelago.
Yeah, it's much smaller.
Not the single landmass it pretends to be. And to complicate matters, the largest of these Antarctic islands is smaller than Australia. So if you want to keep calling Antarctica a continent, then there's a bunch of other islands that might want to be continents too. Islands like New Guinea, Borneo, Madagascar,
Well,
Baffin
the
Islands,
ice from
Sumatra, and
Antarctica
Honshu.
won't freeze for
While
a
this
long
seems
time,
inclusive
so
to
who
the point of
cares?
silliness, ultimately someone has to decide what large means, and that's going to be an arbitrary line. This problem will be familiar to anyone who remembers the is Pluto a planet or not a planet fiasco,
yeah.
which hinged mostly on this same issue of size. So now we're more confused than before we started. There might be 3 continents or dozens. You know what will sort this out? Science. Confusion plus science equals answers. Let's ask a geologist what a continent is. Confusion plus science equals answers.
And said answers may require years of studying, real studying, not humanities studying, to be understood and will be expressed in terms of probability rather than absolute certainty.
Let's ask a geologist what a continent is. For them, a continent is a tectonic plate, part of the Earth's crust that move together. So geologists, show us your continents. The Antarctic plate, the Australian plate, the Eurasian plate, the South American plate, the African plate. So far, this is looking pretty good. The Middle Eastern
And
plate,
then
the
we get to
Indian
this
plate,
stuff.
the Caribbean plate, the Pacific plate. There isn't even anything there.
Yeah,
Well, there's mostly nothing there.
it's mostly
Nazca
just
plate,
islands.
The Scotia plate? Really? At least North America is still looking reasonable, until you include a chunk of Russia, half of Japan,
Yeah.
and half of Iceland. Well, this is unhelpful. Thanks a lot, geologists. The heart of the problem is that the word continent doesn't have a simple and consistent definition for everyday use. So how many continents are there? Well, how many do you want there to be?
It just depends where you live and what's the accepted answer in the place you live in. So obviously, me, along with the majority of people watching this video, will say it's 7. But some will say 6, some will say 5, some will say 4, or some will say even more than 7. But in the end, who really cares? The number of continents is not going to change anything. It doesn't matter if you think it's 5 or 6 or 7. It doesn't influence your life in any way. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. If you want to see more reactions, check out this video right here. And with that, I hope I'll see you in the next video.